Hello there. This is Miki Wright with Beauty Superstars Talk, and I want to welcome you. This is your backstage pass to experts in beauty. So thanks so much for joining us. It's like we'll let everybody get on here and just keep it moving. So tonight, it's like we welcome you back for our final interview on this series, which is Revisiting Diversity in Beauty. So last year, after the murder of George Floyd, many of the brands made promises to make changes to become more diverse, more inclusive, and create more equity for Black beauty professionals and for consumers. So we are here doing a little check-in from many different areas and avenues of the beauty industry to see, how are these brands doing with upholding their commitments, and just to let them know, the world know that we are just as committed as we were last year to being able to hold them accountable. And we want to make suggestions for next steps for anyone who may be looking to do something practical and make this beauty industry more inclusive. So one of the things I want to emphasize is that this is not a Black conversation. It's actually a beauty industry conversation. Everyone's invited, and we ask that you bring your questions, your comments, your observations, as well as your challenges and your wins. So 1 year ago, George Floyd woke up, got dressed like any other day, decided to go to the store, and presumably without any thought that he would not make it back home. Tragically, his life was ended much too soon and in an unbelievably tragic way. We all witnessed this horrific murder, and although it was not the first time we watched an unarmed Black man being killed by the police, and unfortunately it hasn't been the last, but his death left an indelible imprint on the minds and the hearts of this country, and indeed the world. My heart and my prayers go out to his family and friends this day as the anniversary of his tragic murder, and to the young lady who witnessed and recorded the whole thing as well. I pray they are doing okay. So tonight's episode is actually dedicated to Mr. George Floyd and the legacy that he left us. My guest tonight is Hair in Motion magazine publisher Dominique Lunn, and he and I will have a very candid conversation about what it means to be a Black man in America and in the beauty industry. As someone who's spent his life's work trying to create more inclusion and diversity in the beauty industry, we'll talk about multicultural. Is it real or is it a myth? And so we'll be exploring that. And for anyone who doesn't know, this show was actually born out of the aftermath of George Floyd's tragic murder last year and the racial tensions that erupted in the country and into the world that quickly spilled into the beauty industry, which is still one of the most segregated industries in the country. So for many months, I intentionally said George Floyd's name as I introduced the show, because I think it is important to keep the recognition that this is where that was born. And during that turmoil, I had the opportunity to be on a couple of Zoom calls with other top Black beauty pros. And it was an opportunity for us to meet each other. I knew some, I didn't know others, and to share, what we do in the industry, as well as, experiences that we may have had with racism, ranging from feeling marginalized in situations to out and out discrimination. But the amazing thing is that none of that had stopped any of us. And I left there feeling super inspired and with the conviction that these stories just have to be told. So I expanded my platform, and I've been interviewing the best and brightest Black beauty bosses every single week for almost a year. So before we meet with Dominique, I want to invite you to join me next Tuesday. We're going to be starting a brand new series. It will be June. And we are going to look at your online success. So ready or not, the digital world is here, and hairstylists and other beauty professionals, we've got to make sure we step up our game and make sure we stay on top of our game, because things keep changing all the time. So we will have an incredible lineup, starting with Brandy Taylor. She'll be here to talk about her dope strategy for easy, simple social media. So if you are trying to get your social media game up, you won't want to miss that. And then we'll meet with Kendra Ward, who has designed programs to help hairstylists take their knowledge and turn it into digital products and be able to monetize that online as well. And then we'll meet with a young lady. Her name is Stephanie LaFlora, and she's co-founder of a new company called crownhunt.io, and or just Crown Hunt really, but that's their website is crownhunt.io. And she has designed this program. She's not part of the beauty industry. She is a techie, and she's had some pretty challenging hair experiences that she'll share with us as well as to partly why she decided to start this business. But it's dedicated to providing an online platform for hairstylists, Black hairstylists, beauty pros, and people with all types of textured hair to have a community to learn from. So we can learn online, and she's going to show us how we can teach online and actually monetize our business that way. And we will wrap up the month. Well, actually not wrap up the month, but wrap up this segment of the month with Tamika Gibson, who is better known as the Hair Diagram. And she was able to retire from behind the chair at 40 because of her online success with her business and products, which you may be really familiar with. But she is phenomenal, and she's going to talk to us about overcoming our fears about doing video, because that can be such a challenge, and the world is definitely getting more into video with Reels, with TikTok, with everything. So you won't want to miss any of those. And then in the middle of the month, I told you I've been doing this for almost a year. It will be our anniversary. It's actually June 14th, which that day I'm actually going to have a webinar. It's a free webinar. If you'd like to attend, we'll get you the information on my link tree at mikiwright.com, but it's called Level Up, and it's pricing strategies for dope hairstylists. So if you are wondering if you should raise your prices, how to do your prices, all that kind of good stuff, we'll talk about that. So that will be on that Monday, the 14th, but the 15th, Tuesday at 7 p.m., like I'm always here, will be a big celebration. This is our anniversary party, and I'm probably going to get interviewed, if not roasted, that evening. So we'll love for you to join us, and I'll share some of my story. I'll have some friends that will actually be hosting and actually be sharing some of the experiences that we've gone through in the industry. So I'm super looking forward to that, and hope you'll join us and enjoy the celebration. So we want to thank our sponsor for this exciting series, which is the Black Beauty Expo, which is really the hottest show for Black creative entrepreneurs in the hair, fashion, photography, modeling, and makeup industry. The next show coming up is August 1st. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. And if you're interested, I've actually got a way for you to get a free ticket to attend the Black Beauty Expo. So I did say free, and all you have to do is watch my interview with Weldon Bond, who was my guest a couple weeks ago. He's the founder of the Black Beauty Expo, and it's on my YouTube channel. You can just type in Weldon Bond or just roll down a couple spaces. But my YouTube channel is Miki Wright. I just have 1K in my name. Everyone always wants to give me more, but it's Miki, just MIKIWRIGHT. And you'll be able to grab a special code that's in there and get a free ticket. So thank you so much for that, Black Beauty Expo. And be sure to follow them at blackbeautyexpo.com and on IG or Instagram at Black Beauty Expo. And you'll be able to keep up with the latest news about the show, upcoming shows, and for further special vendor packages as well. And in addition, I'm excited to let you know that I'm the Global Education Director for the Black Beauty Expo. So if you are interested in educating, please reach out to me. And in addition, I want to thank the Tees. They are a digital platform for all things hair, beauty, and pop culture. They have given us a tremendous amount of support around this topic. I actually did a follow-up interview with them today, which will be out probably in the next couple weeks or so, just talking about this important conversation that we've been having around diversity, revisiting it a year later, and all of the fabulous guests that I've had so far leading up to the one we're having tonight. So definitely, if you've missed any of the conversations that we've had, be sure to follow me on YouTube, beautysuperstars.com. You can watch them from there and follow, or you can watch them from my YouTube channel, which is Miki Wright. And with the Tees, they're On Instagram, they're Read the Tease, at Read the Tease, and not .com, but just at Read the Tease. And their podcast is called Volume Up. So be sure to follow them on all of your podcast stations, your Apple, iTunes, Spotify, all of those. And you can hear, I've been able to be a guest on a couple times, and we'll have the upcoming kind of recap on this month and what it's meant to the industry. So thank you again, the Tees, for your support. And while you're there, listening to the podcast, definitely be sure to follow Beauty Superstars Talk on podcast as well. So thank you so much for being here. We'd actually love to know where you're from. So if you want to drop your comments, your space, or where you're from in the comments section, looks like we'll be checking in. And as I said, every week I have the privilege to meet with amazing Black beauty bosses who are making their mark in the beauty industry. And this is actually more than a podcast. It's actually a movement. We're here to encourage Black excellence, entrepreneurship, to preserve our history, and to bring healing to our industry. So if you are loving what we're doing here, you can consider partnering with us, and you can contribute $5 or actually any amount. And you can even sponsor a deserving student or beauty pro with training. So just visit beautysuperstars.com and look for the red button. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're a talented beauty pro, you're great behind the chair, but you're unsure if you're charging enough or charging too much, or wondering if it's time to raise your prices, feel free to join me for my free webinar called Level Up. It's pricing strategies for dope stylists. And you can visit linktree.com and /Miki Wright. So without further ado, I want to welcome my guest. I want to share his bio with you before we jump right in to this conversation. So thank you, Dominique, so much for being here. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Miki. I look forward to speaking with you. I've known you for a long, long time. We've actually did a lot of seminars together back in the day. So I'm just glad to be here.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I'm going to share a little bit about your background with your magazine, and we will dive right in.
Alrighty, I'm ready.
Oh, you're ready? You're ready. All right. I am too. And thanks everybody for your patience and being here with us for this really cool conversation. So Hair in Motion continues to be one of a few beauty and grooming magazines that will directly address the true needs of professionals in the beauty industry. This magazine will empower its readership by focusing on various aspects of the business from the inside out. Each year, Hair in Motion by Dominique has cultivated an opportunity for local businesses to reach a multicultural market of hair professionals throughout the nation for 18 years. The trailblazing hair battle has consistently given stylists the opportunity to release their creativity and consistently enable stylists to showcase their artistry on a national platform. Viewers get exclusive insight on the newest trends, and sponsors increase their brand recognition as well as maximize their visibility. Become a sponsor by choosing a marketing proposal that fits your budget. And Hair in Motion magazine by Dominique is one of the country's only grooming magazines that continues to remain one of a few magazines that will directly address the true needs of professionals in the beauty industry. And so he has a background in hairstyling, has had some fabulous mentors along the way, and also is a U.S. veteran and served in our military. So we are just honored to have you.
I'm so happy to be here, Miki, and I love the platform that you created, just to get the word out and keep the conversation going. So.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, it's like there's so much excellence, as you already know, to be saluted, that it's like we just have to keep putting it out every week. And this serves as a masterclass for, individuals, whether they're new in the industry or whether they are seasoned. It's like there's always some serious nuggets dropped every week. So, yeah, in fact, you may want to grab a pen and paper. So tell us, how did you get started in the beauty industry? Because I think you were in the military first. Is that right?
Definitely. It started in high school because I was cutting everybody hair in the neighborhood, and I didn't really take it serious. So I wasn't charging. I just did. Whoever asked me to cut their hair, I cut it. Fast forward, when I got in the military, I really understood the finances behind the haircuts. So I was cutting officers, some of my partners that was in the same dorm room as I was. I was cutting everybody hair, and then I went into the NEX, which is the military store, and I started cutting hair, and it just blossomed from there.
Okay. So when you started cutting in the military store, did you have to be licensed, or did they give you any training, or it was just kind of your natural
They gave
ability?
us training, but in the military, you didn't. At that time, you didn't have to have a license, but
Okay.
but you had to be skilled because if someone came in there and you messed their hair up, trust and believe nobody else is coming to you. So that was like having a license.
Okay. As they trial by fire.
Yes. So and I really appreciate them allowing me to do that because they didn't have to do it. Initially I was in the dorm room and I just got tired of people coming to my room and not having the privacy. So they
Okay.
allowed me to come in there. So yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's really good because it sounds like you got a lot of training. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't just like, oh, well, I just did one here or there. So yeah, that's really cool. So doing the shows, I think, came before the magazine. Is that right?
Yes, I started. This is so funny because at the time, my girlfriend at the time, she was a hairdresser, and I was stationed at the Naval Academy, and I put on my first show at Langley Air Force Base because that's where our salon was in Hampton, Virginia, and I was just expecting 75, 100 people. We had 500 people at my first show, and it
Wow.
was from there I got excited.
Yeah,
Yes.
that sounds pretty exciting.
Oh yeah. The only dilemma we had with the first show is, if you wasn't military, I had to stay at the gate and sign everybody in who came through the door. So that was a
Wow.
process. Yeah, that was a
Right.
process.
Okay. That was quite a job. Okay. Yeah. So you just kind of from there because the bug got you. It's like you kept
Yes.
going and doing the shows.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. And then, being in the salon and I was seeing the money she was making, and here I
Mhm.
was, I'm cutting hair, and this is 1998, and I was only getting $15 a head, and she
Mm.
was getting 60, 70 a head at the time, and I was like, okay, show me how to do this and show me how to
Okay.
do that. I caught on.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So all of that was after you got out of the military, or that was while you were still in?
Yeah, I was still in. I was a year into almost getting out. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
um, I was just training, in my schedule at work because I had so much time in, and I was processing out and stuff like that. That I only worked Monday through Thursday, and Thursday morning I was off at 10 o'clock.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
so I had the whole weekend to be in the salon.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's a nice schedule.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I
you
want that back.
okay. The entrepreneur schedule isn't quite the same, right?
It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Seriously. So
Right. Yeah, so you were in the military, you started doing women's hair instead of just the men's, and then you started doing the shows and that
yeah.
took off. And so how did the magazine evolve into what you were doing or evolve out of what you were doing?
Well, and initially when I started doing photo shoots, I was working with France and Jonathan Martin.
Oh,
And
wow.
once I was shooting with France, and he was always different. He was always ahead of the curve to me. So he was submitting our work to American Salon and Modern Salon, and we just wasn't getting the visibility that we thought we should have. So I
Mhm.
got frustrated, and out of frustration, I created the magazine. It wasn't because I was trying to make money or anything like that. It was frustration. I wasn't getting seen. And the first initial issue that I launched, it had all of my hairdressers that work in the salon in the magazine. So
Okay. That's a good starting point.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
We ain't make no money, but it is.
But I mean, sometimes the experience is even more valuable than the money right up
Oh, yeah,
front.
it definitely was. It definitely was. I made a lot of mistakes, but
Uh-huh.
there were learning curves for me. And
Mhm.
each issue after that, I just grew and grew, and here I am.
Right, right. Yeah, I think that's true. Like with any creative pursuit, including hairstyling, it's like when you come out of school, it's really about, where can you learn more so that
Yeah,
you can ultimately make the funds from it rather
definitely.
than where can I make the most right now. So, yeah, that's good school. So, how did it go from that to being nationwide? And I think beyond nationwide.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
How did the magazine go from being the people in your salon and your folks that you knew to being something that was nationwide?
Oh, it was a client of mine. She was a business savvy young woman, and she just told me, she was like, you have to do more than just having your stylist shoot for the magazine in order for you to sell this magazine and make money from the magazine. Because I was spending a lot of money producing a
Right.
magazine, but wasn't getting any sales. So she was
Mhm.
like, invite other stylists from different salons, and then have them support you and shout you out and help sell the magazines. And that's what I did, and that
Mhm.
was a blessing in disguise. She was a sweet, sweet, sweet client. I loved her. She always
Okay.
had advice for me too. So
Right. Yeah, it's like we all need those business mentors or somebody that's, a few steps ahead of us to see something that we may not be able to see. So yeah,
yes,
well, you've done a fantastic job. So what were some of those learnings that you had early on? Because just to let everybody know, it's like when you started, there was no digital. It was all print
it was
and it
all print,
was
and
expensive.
that was the good thing, Miki. That people look to magazines to get exposure, and if you
Mm,
were in the prestigious magazines, then you were getting jobs with companies. It wasn't
mm,
on social media. The companies was actually going to these magazines, seeing who had the hardest work. So
mm. Yeah. Yeah. Very good tip. So
yes.
what were some of your learnings during that process? That first year or two,
Whew.
yep.
When I tell you, Mickey, I like when I was creating a couple of the issues, and this is no bono. I spent a lot of the money that I made in the salon put
Mhm.
into the magazine just to produce it. And then I
Right.
find myself moving from a schedule from Thursday, Friday, Saturday to going back to the salon 7 days a week just to cover
Mhm.
the printing, the layout, and all of that stuff. So yeah, that was the learning experience because I didn't want to go back to no full schedule in the salon.
Right.
Sure,
Right, right. But we do what we have to do.
definitely, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And from, like when did it become something that you wanted it to be really multicultural?
Well, after the issue where I had all of my stylists in it, I
Mhm.
always, because I have a different background. I live all over the world, and I always wanted to include everybody in the magazine because I saw the bigger picture. It wasn't just about black hairdressers, white hairdressers. I wanted everybody in there. And living in Italy, it opened my eyes to a whole different world that I have never seen before. So that's probably when my third issue is when I wanted to invite everybody in. So,
Okay. Yeah. So
but did they accept? They didn't. Everybody didn't accept, but I at least extended that invitation. So
right, right. So, most of us have lived in the US for most of our lives, and some of us have had the fortune to travel to different places. But what was it like for you? Like you mentioned Italy, to like live there, what were the light bulb moments that you had living there versus having lived here?
it's the whole culture, how they move, how they dress. I mean, you had the older gentlemen. They was like, just to, like at night, 6 o'clock, they walk the piazza, and just to have on suits, walking around just in circles with your whole family, holding hands. Like I've never seen nothing like that before in my life. And then I
Mhm.
got exposed to that, and I started doing it, and I started, talking to them, and just getting their life experiences and bringing it back to the states with me. So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's like we've been shut down for COVID for quite a while for the most part, and things are opening back up. And I don't know when people will feel, some people have been on the move like you the whole time. Some people are still waiting or what have you. But it's like if you have the opportunity to travel, it's such an eye-opening experience that
Yes.
it's worth it, just to see and experience things for yourself.
Definitely. Definitely.
Uh-oh, you got some noise back there. So we want to talk to, well, actually, I have one more question about the magazine, but we want to talk about, the whole diversity piece in our industry. But one of the things I do want to know is, like, you did your latest issue. You have it so we can see the cover.
Yes.
You did your latest issue of Hair in Motion magazine. Yep. Lift it up for us if you can. Yep. Perfect. We can see it. And you did that. When did it come out?
April the 25th.
April 25th. Okay. And so that was not even a month ago. So congratulations on getting it out. And what was it like? And we've got some, what do they call it? Haters or something here. It's like, we will, I don't know how this whole thing works. I haven't done this before. So I think I blocked somebody. But we've got some hate on here, but whatever. We are here having a great show. And Ava says, hey, Dominique, and keep up this show a little bit. And keep Miki Wright, keep up the great work. Thank you so much for your support. And Kevin Insale says, drop the link. And that must be for the class. So I will do that. Asia Yet is here. So thank you for being here. And she says, hi, Dominique.
Hi,
and and Katanda is here, and she's got some laughing in there. So, so thank you all for being here. And so with this magazine, you produced it during COVID.
Yes. Yes.
You were traveling and doing photo shoots and all of that. What was that whole experience like?
It was a challenge, but and everybody was scared. You know what I mean? So and it was rightfully so that you needed to be scared because COVID wasn't a joke. You know what I mean? But we took precautions. We was masked up. We social distanced, and we made it happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, phenomenal. So compare it to, like, your previous few issues. What was booking people like, and what was organizing, like, your photographers and your makeup artists and all of the other support people, as well as the hairstylist. Was that
Again, I just felt like because we was stationary so long, everybody wanted to get out and do something. They they didn't care what it was, but as far as the shoots, everybody participated. We had a great attendance record with the shoots. And again, we social distance. We made sure everybody was safe. We masked up, and then when they was on the set, we took the mask off, and when they was done, they put the mask back on. So we really, was safe about everything. So
yeah. Well, congratulations. It's like, that's no small feat to put it all together, go all across the country, do photo shoots. But like you said, we've been inside, and creativity juices are just like, okay, we need to do something. And it's a beautiful issue. So if you guys haven't gotten it, to definitely make sure that you pick it up, and you'll have to give us the information for
I will.
how you can do that. So yeah. But I want to kind of flip the switch here. And, obviously today is the anniversary of George Floyd's murder. And just wanted to, connect with you to see, how did that whole situation affect you, on a personal note and on a business note?
I have to be completely transparent with you. It took me about 3 days to get back to my normal self because it just watching that happen in front of me, and people just standing there doing nothing. Because me personally, being ex-military, is no way I could have just stood there and let that happen. I just know that. So I think God worked in mysterious ways, because if I was there, they probably would have killed me too, because I could not stand there and let somebody be choked out like that. You know what I mean? a
Right.
slow death. That's the worst death ever. And until you see death up close, then you know like that it really affected me. I just can't even put it into words how bad
Mhm.
I felt for not only him, his family, and just the people that the world that was watching it happen. You know what I mean? You don't
Right.
want certain kids to be exposed to something like that, but with technology, you can't even block it. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, it definitely it hit home. It definitely hit home, and it just put me put a battery in my back so I can really, really let everybody know in the beauty industry what has been done, what is still being done, and how
Mhm.
I feel about it. So,
Right. Right. Yeah, you were mentioning, kids and kind of trying to shield them from it, but it was impossible. But it was actually, I believe, I don't know all the details, but I think it was a young lady that was about 16 or so that actually filmed the
yes,
video.
he did. Yeah,
And my heart, when I heard that, I was just like, oh my God, I can't even imagine her and the trauma that, she went through
definitely.
witnessing it and filming it, and then, having it explode the way that it did. And so my prayers are have been out for her, but just definitely go up this day
Yeah.
in particular. But yeah, it's like you have had a battery in your back since then, and you've been very vocal on just sharing what I call is truth. Some of the
Yeah.
ugly truth of our history in this country, and what you know beyond what you just shared. Was there anything that just kind of pushed you that like, I have to say this right now, or I have to post this right now?
Well, I was like I have relatives that I've been talking to on a daily basis right after that happened, and then they was telling me their experiences, and it seemed like him passing just opened up old wounds for the elderly and the older people that went through stuff that we haven't experienced. So,
Hmm.
just talking to my aunts and uncles and stuff like that, it just it just was feeding the fire. They was just letting me know the situations that happened to them back in the day. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like I applaud you for just having your stance was very clear, and having that continue. It's like you haven't taken your foot off the gas.
Yeah.
So what changes do you see in terms of the industry? It's like this is a year to the date, so it didn't technically explode into the beauty industry for maybe another week or so. But what changes have you seen, or even what you were hearing and seeing last year this time versus what you're seeing this year?
Um, I'm just, we got to keep the conversation open. We have to stay boisterous about everything because honestly, it hasn't been a lot of change. And I'm just being completely transparent. A lot of companies, as soon as that happened, we did this, we did that, we did this, but we've been going through this for 400 years. So you doing one or two things, it's not adding up. You know what I mean? It's not adding up. And for you to say what you did in the past, what are you doing now? You
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying? Our buying power is so well rounded. I mean, we support everybody, and we have a high percentage in a lot of beauty products, but they don't put no money in the black community, and
Mhm.
that's the issue. That is the issue. How can we survive when there's no support? But
Mhm.
we're doing all the buying from the companies that have all the money. You know what I mean? So I brought that up on some of my Zoom calls with different companies that I've sat down with, and to me, it's turtle movement to me. That's what I
Mhm.
want to say. It's so slow you can't even say that anything is happening. You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
frustrating. It's very frustrating to see that they taking our lives and we still have to deal with that, and we have to deal with trying to stay in business when none of the money is allocated to black businesses.
Mhm.
So that's how I feel about that.
Right. Right. Yeah. And from being a magazine publisher standpoint, what does representation matters mean to you? and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I told you I was in a meeting with TV1 about the reality show that I'm trying to come up with, and Miss Kathy Hughes, she made a point. She was on a phone call, a conference call, but I was in there listening, and she said that the automobile industry is going to put 2 to 4% in the Black community, and eventually get up to 8%. But she said Black people are spending 11% with the same companies that only want to put 2 to 4% back in the community. How is that helping us?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? We
Right.
spending so much money with these companies. The only way is we create our own companies and show them that we can stand on our own 2 feet, just like the Black Wall Street.
Hmm. Right. Right.
I really do think that because the way where we are now and the situation that we're in, I don't think they respect us enough to think that we'll stop supporting them. Just put it that way.
Yeah, yeah. And I do want to pause because you mentioned Black Wall Street, and the Tulsa Massacre is only days away, the centennial anniversary of that occurrence. And so it was huge, for anyone who doesn't know, and there sometimes is a little press around it, sometimes not, but there are some big events that are going on in the next week. And I should have the the website available, but definitely there was a community in Tulsa referred to as Black Wall Street, where it was just a Black community, and Black
Mhm.
did business with Blacks. They had their own banks, they had their own everything, and
Yes.
it was the white people in the area came in and completely burned it down. There were I think about 100 people that were murdered during that time, and it was just a pretty horrific thing, and there was never any restitution, there was never any recovery per se from that whole event. And so that's was in 1921, so it's
Yes.
100 years, and the commemoration, it's not a celebration, but commemoration will be next Monday and Tuesday, I believe, are the dates that the actual occurrences happened. And so I'm grateful because I'm going to get to be part of a conversation, a group that I belong to, Every Dot Black, which everyone can belong to. Every Dot Black, they do mastermind meetings each Monday evening, and they've been invited to be part of the Tulsa commemoration. And so some of them will be going out there. And then on Monday, we're going to talk about the history of Black hair, myself and Lafayette Jones. And so I feel really honored to be part of that historic, event. So I hope you'll join us. Actually, it's like I'll put some links and put some information out. But there's just so much stuff that we need never forget.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right in this time frame. So thank you for bringing that up, and thank you for sharing what Kathy Hughes was saying, because I think, I mean, the simple math tells you
Yeah. Yes. And numbers
that
don't
things
lie.
off.
They just don't lie. They can verbally tell you what they're doing, but the numbers don't lie. So,
Right, right.
you know,
If we're spending 11% and they're putting back in 2 to 4%, there's a huge gap in there.
yeah, correct.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's very interesting. And it's like we want to be solution oriented.
Mhm.
So do you have anything that you think would be, I don't know if there is the thing, but anything that would help move the ball forward?
The only thing, Nikki, is we have to continue to communicate and keep this dialogue going because they're like the way society is and the way technology is, everybody sweeps everything under the carpet so fast to move on to the next thing. But
Mhm.
this right here, we can't move away from because we've been in it too long. We've been in it too long, and we haven't, like you said, we haven't even had apologies, let alone restitution. You
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying? So, how do you think that our ancestors feel and our older aunts and uncles and grandparents feel that this is still happening? And they
Mhm.
was marching with Martin Luther King and this is still happening. You know what I mean? That don't even add up to me.
Right. Yeah. So definitely, anyone watching is like, let's continue to have these conversations. Let's continue to, call things as we see them. Basically, it's like, what's going on? Why is that? Even with the conversation about the 11% versus the 4%, it's like until we actually are with the decision makers.
Yeah. I'm all for it, Miki, and I'm glad you have this platform to just keep this conversation going, because without conversation, there will be no restitution. I promise you, they won't back us. They will forget about us, and that's not what we want. So
Right. Yeah, and I, like I said, I met with, had an interview with the T's. This, we're getting a lot of background noise. We might have to have you plugged in.
okay,
Uh,
yeah, I just plugged in.
okay,
Yeah.
so hopefully, we won't get. Before we were getting a little bit of delay, so hopefully we won't get that.
Okay.
But with the interview I did with the T's, it's like we were talking about where do we start? What things can be different? And, I said I wrote the article last year. Do Black stylists really matter in the beauty industry?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I went through kind of step by step in different areas of the industry, because there's so much to approach. There isn't like a one size fit all. But, having conversations in our salons, looking at our salons, are they diverse at all? Are they diverse enough? Do they need, are we meeting the needs of the community around us? Has the community changed? And really being able to look at, from a salon perspective up, from the schools, looking at them and saying, usually there are diverse populations in a lot of the schools. Are we creating atmospheres where there's projects that are going on? And I know you're getting into the school arena. So what are your directions in terms of having a multicultural conversation or set up in your school?
Well, that's the main thing. That's the main reason that I'm getting into this, because
Mhm.
it starts at the school, Miki. It starts at the school, because whatever the students learn at that school level, they take to the salon with them. And when
Right.
they get in that atmosphere, they take that salon atmosphere and take it to another level. But if they learn at the school level, then they can take what they know to that salon and
Mhm.
spread that type of love. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely on June 12th. We having a grand opening for the school,
Okay.
and it's definitely going to be diverse. It's definitely going to be, even the educators and everybody. It's
Okay.
going to be a diverse staff and everything. Yes.
Wonderful. And where is it located? So if somebody wants to go and have the best education, or
Oh yeah, it's going to be in Norfolk, Virginia.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So definitely keep us posted with the progress of that.
Gotcha. I will.
Yeah. And so, there's so many different avenues that we can approach all of these conversations from. And one thing I wanted to get your perspective, because you spent time in the military,
Hmm.
and just as far as, it seemed like you were, um, I don't know, affected by having spent the time in the military and then seeing the things that are going on, in the last year in particular. So how did all of that fit together for you? Or, you tell us.
I did, and the reason I'm saying that, Miki, is because when we went to Iraq, it wasn't about no skin color. It was about everybody's bleeding if somebody
Mhm.
gets in trouble over there. It was about watching our brothers back. It was a brotherhood thing. It wasn't no black, white, Asian, none of that stuff. So when you serve and then you come back to society, and then society act like this treats you like you're not human because you're a different skin color, it really bothered me. I'm telling you, and that's the reason I put my foot on the gas and I made a stance and just let the stylists know, even though your ancestors may have been, you know, feeling a different type of way about different races, that doesn't mean that you have to be that way. And if you are, then I'll like to know so I won't be around you. You know what I mean? I won't accept that because some stylists they'll be around you because of who you connected with, but they really don't even like you. They don't even like your skin color. And you don't want nobody to like cover that up. You want them to be as honest as possible. If they feel a certain type of way because of your skin color, oh well. Just let me know. That's all I want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's so much to unpack there.
It
That's
is.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
a whole nother show.
Yeah, well, I can't let you be here and not talk about, media in general, because you are a media
Mhm.
person. The impact of, the media that we do have is like when we
Mhm.
look at social media and all of those things. What are your thoughts with, the changes and shifts that we've made? Do you feel like we're being positively impacted, not impacted at all, or impacted negatively?
I think honestly, it got to a point, Mickey, where I stopped watching the news because Kathy Hughes again. Miss Hughes says this. She was like, everybody hates Fox News, right? But they love the show Empire. Who do you think controls Empire?
Hmm. Hmm.
Fox News.
Right, right.
So it's just like, okay, you hate a network, but your favorite show is on a network. That don't add up either. You
Hmm.
understand what I'm saying? So
Right,
you
right.
got all of these media platforms that are putting out negative and lies, so you can believe that. And if you watch it over and over again, you will start to believe, and you know it's a lie.
Hmm.
And that's how they get you. That machine is the media machine is a terrible thing right now. It is. It used to be all truth. Now it's whatever they want to say.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's where we are.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And what about print? What about magazines?
Print.
They're gone a lot in
Yeah.
digital, and that was kind of where all
It's
of this conversation started. So,
look. It's only me. Nah. But yeah. The magazines are a dime a dozen now. It's not too many left, and the ones that are left, they're more digital than print, and that's why I wanted to do. I wanted to be both, but I still think that clients love to go and read articles, read about health, look at imagery, and pick their styles from the imagery, and
mhm.
that's why I wanted to keep it relevant and alive.
Yeah, yeah. So we appreciate that too. It's like I think there isn't anything like picking up a book. It's like
Yes.
just a regular book. Not even a magazine. And it's like, and I've been a huge magazine fan, if not hoarder, all my life. But yeah.
Listen, I remember the first. I remember one of the first magazines you was in, and I used to be like, "Hey Floyd, who is Mickey Wright?" Because I used to see you all over these magazines.
It's been a lot. I'm grateful for all of the opportunities. And you mentioned, like France and Jonathan Martin. I never got to work with Jonathan for him to shoot. It's like I worked with his buddy Curtis Cottrell, and
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
uh,
Curtis, nice.
yeah, a lot of different great photographers through the years. Weldon Bond, and of course Keston Duke, who did my famous
Yeah,
Red Bang picture and all of that. But
yes,
and Hugo Paez from years ago. I don't know if you guys remember
I,
the
I
leopard hair.
remember.
The leopard hair, he shot that
Yes.
one, and it's like I've had some great experiences with that, and it's like I love, the fact that there are photo shoots,
Hmm.
and there's nothing like professional photography, professional makeup, lighting, all of those kind of things.
Yes.
So
Well, yeah.
even with digital um, age, it's like you still want to invest in, photography and invest in professional looks, even though it's like, oh, I can take it with my phone. It's not the same.
It's
So,
not the same. It's not the same. And photography as far as being on the set, it's no filters. Everything is raw, and it is what it is behind the lens. You
yeah,
get, you get on the social media thing, and you got people, they putting filters in, and then when you see it up close at a show, it's like, wow, this is not the same. You know what I mean? This is really not the same. But
right.
Yeah. So I suggest that everybody should at least do a photo shoot every quarter, at least every quarter.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it definitely makes your work better in the
Yeah.
salon because it makes
Yes.
your eyes stronger and you see,
Yes.
and that lens, ooh, it won't lie.
Ooh, it will not lie to shoot right through all the mistakes you made.
Yes, it will pick right on up. So
Yes. Yes.
yeah, just from your perspective, just from your background, what about headshots? I'm just throwing that in there because I think it's such an overlooked area of the industry.
And you know what? A lot of people they stop doing headshots, but I always suggest at least once a year get you a nice clean headshot just to keep on file because you never know when you're gonna use it. Even for your passport, you need a headshot. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I suggest at least once a year just upgrade it so you won't have to go through your old files or old slides to get a headshot.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm overdue. So we were actually supposed to shoot last year, but it didn't happen. So
Got you, got you.
hopefully this year. But yeah, it's like you're a dad as well as hairstylist and magazine
Yes.
publisher and all of that. Tell us like how that has affected the lens you're seeing everything through.
Well, right now, like for instance, my son, he was supposed to be in college, and because of COVID, he decided to sit out this year. But my other son, he's actually in Italy, stationed in Italy. He's in the Air Force.
Okay.
Been in the Air Force for a year now.
Oh
Well,
wow.
June will be a year and a half. So,
Okay.
so
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, I think my youngest son, it affected him more because he he's he's kind of, I don't want to say lazy, but it's like he don't want to do anything. He's not inspired no more. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I'm trying to light that battery back up, but for everybody doing Zoom classes and not being able to see your friends and stuff like that, it's hard
Mhm.
on them. It's definitely hard
Yeah.
on them. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's a trying time, but I think we still have to keep focused on the future, something
definitely,
that's a
definitely,
bright light in the future of some sort to be able to keep pulling us forward out of,
yeah,
what we see as present.
exactly.
And, yeah, it's like I was thinking about this last year with the graduation. The graduations didn't happen, like they normally
Yes.
have because of COVID. And everybody was like, "Oh, just really down." But I was thinking about my own graduation. Like my dad had passed not that long before I graduated, and
Mm.
so it's like I could do without the graduation and have him. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly,
It's like
exactly.
we just have to deal with what we have to deal with, and accept it and kind of move forward. So, um, yeah. So for anyone that's may not be familiar with Hair in Motion magazine, tell us
hmm
about a little bit. What makes it unique.
Well, again, what makes it unique is that we're bringing everybody on board as far as different uh, ethnicities, as far as races, and just being a part of exclusive something exclusive. Because what we're doing is we have a theme for each shoot, and
Hmm.
we are just bringing everybody together and create something magical. Just put it that way, because you
Okay.
was creating magical things a long time ago.
Yeah, I had a great time doing it, and I want to talk to you about that. It looks like are we wanting to add you on the other one?
Yeah. Because my battery is going down on
Have
this.
to go. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Let's see, can we do that? I think so.
Yeah, we here. We here.
Okay, but I'm hearing myself back in your background.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay, I think
All
that
right.
might do it. Yeah,
We good? Okay.
yeah, we're good.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. So with the magazine, it's like that's one of the things I like about it because there's the what you would call kind of regular hairstyles, but then there's also
hmm
things that are really avant-garde. Like
Yes.
your covers like make a really big statement each time, And like you said, there's articles for people to take in. It's not just all hairstyles. So I think it's definitely something we need to, add to our list of things to have on hand all the time for ourselves, for inspiration, for the clients, like you said. It's like
Yes.
I guess looking through magazines may be back. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
For a while they were completely a no, but I think that they're coming back. So
And
um,
not only that, Miki, also the articles, the articles that you write, the articles that we solicit from other artists, just talking about their experiences and just techniques and everything, how to's, just to help grow the stylists and keep the conversation going about racism and everything. So it's a well-rounded magazine.
yeah, definitely. I agree.
Yeah.
It's like I'm grateful. I have been able to contribute some articles to, I guess, quite a few of
Oh yeah,
these
definitely.
issues. So I do have one. I think it's on texture in there this time, where I
Yes.
just go through and talk about different people that I got to interview and their perceptions and perspectives on working with textured hair. So definitely check that out as well.
Yeah,
And
and a lot of companies, I got feedback on that article because they're using that as an introduction to stylists who don't know a lot about texture. So that
okay,
that that was a blessing. Thank you for that.
okay, awesome. Tell them to come watch Beauty Superstars talk so they can hear and see it for themselves.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Yep, definitely. All of the things that are there, and I want to show a little bit of the comments and stuff that we're getting because we're getting some folks in here, which is great. We
Okay,
appreciate you guys being here. So,
good vibes only.
oh, absolutely. So G Isaac says yes, Black Wall Street, right?
hmm
And she says, "Hey, Mickey Wright and Dominique, nice to have met you at the Hair and Motion show last month." So she was
Oh, nice.
and whoop, whoop. Yeah, you've been traveling, so cool. And Inez Teamer is here, says you're speaking truth.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Isaac says Mickey Wright, looking good, lady, loving the hair. Oh, thank you so much. And yes, I agree with y'all. And she says she's a multicultural stylist, been doing this. And yes, Dominique, I agree. I was always teaching my peers different hair textures, skin, etc. But it's still much needed. Yeah,
Yes.
that's something I was seeing over the last year that there has been an increase in education that's been available for free for various price points on styling textured hair, on working with X, Y, and Z. And yet there still seems to be a lot of people with a lot of questions when I'm in
Yes.
Facebook groups and that type of thing. So there is still this disconnect between the people getting what they're wanting and
Yes.
the education that's out there. So I think as educators, as individuals, like Dee said, just keep sharing all the time.
Yes. We got to keep the conversation going because if we don't, then it's going to be died out and everybody's going to move to something different. So we
Right.
definitely got to keep the dialogue going.
Yeah. And what was the conversations that you were having with the hairstylists who were doing the shoots and preparing models and obviously excited about their careers? So were you having some of these conversations with them, or it was just too hectic with the photo shoot?
Oh no, definitely. I mean, that's what the tour is about. It's entitled "Hairstylists Shooting for Equality." So that's the main subject on the set, finding out how they feel and if they have any solutions, and
Mhm.
how they can take it back to the salon and change the mindset, and just talk to the salon owners about what we're doing. So
Right.
yeah, that's the main thing once we get on set that we're talking about, and
Okay.
even hair textures. We talk about hair because a lot of them, they don't know about our texture of hair, and they
Mm.
have questions, and it's kind of like we are creating, but we're also teaching at the same time.
Right.
So it's an awesome experience. It's definitely an awesome experience. And then I have some of my camera crews at select locations where we film the reality show at
Mm.
on set. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Okay. And so were there any surprises, I guess, from some of the conversations that you had?
From some of the sit down conversations, of course, yes. But
Uh-huh.
you got to stay tuned for Hair Emotion
Oh, you're
Unplugged.
gonna share
It's coming. It's coming. It's
All
coming.
right, we'll stay tuned. So D. Isaac says, congratulations on your school.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we've got Black Beauty Culture of Nova Scotia in the house. Good night. Giving
Good night.
us some heads up. It looks like Rhonda Moffitt is here. Hi, Rhonda.
Hi,
She says,
Rhonda.
Dominique. And then check this guy out. Keith Cephas. What's good, fam?
What's happening, Keith? How's everything?
I have not seen Keith in a long time, and he's a fabulous photographer. Used to do some beauty stuff. I don't think he's doing much of that now. And
Yeah.
Karen says, I think it's Karen, if I'm pronouncing it right, says, Dom.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, but Keith has moved on to some fantastic things with shooting weddings that are
Oh yeah.
spectacular and also doing sports, being out
Oh
there on
yeah.
the
Yeah.
and all that good stuff. So it's like, we
Yeah.
knew you win, or I knew you win.
Hey, listen, Keith's doing this thing, man. Keep doing it, Keith. He's doing this
Absolutely.
thing.
Absolutely. So proud of you. Yeah. So any advice that you would give to up and coming stylists? I know you're committed from the early education side. I know you're committed from having mentors and helping people to advance. So
Do you Miki, do you remember Mike Chavez?
I do. Yep. Out of
Okay.
Philadelphia.
I love to quote what he used to tell us in the classes, in his business classes. He used to say, "There's no loss if you're trying." A lot of people, they think because they lose, they take a loss, that it's a bad thing, but it's no loss unless you're trying. And as long as you're trying, you never lose.
All right.
I
That's
live by that. I live by that.
okay. Yep. Keep trying. It's like keep moving forward, keep putting one
Yes.
foot in front of the next. And any
Yes.
other advice that you received? And I know you have some great mentors in Barry Fletcher and Floyd Kenyatta, or some of my.
Um, yeah, I mean, I have so many. But one thing about our industry, and Glenn Jackson used to say this all the time. He was like, as long as we are creating, and as long as they are marking what we are doing, we will always stay relevant.
Yeah.
And they take everything that our culture create, and they try to take ownership, but they can't, because they can't recreate exactly how we do things.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I love that. Glenn Jackson. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Glenn. Yes. Yeah, I call it our flavor. And I think that's one
Yes.
of the reasons we need to have more diversity in some of these, not some, but really all types of settings, whether it's the boardroom, whether it's, doing photo shoots, whether it's
Yes.
is that there's a flavor that we bring to the table that adds so that everybody else does well, everybody excels. And so,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah, yeah. So I'm really super grateful that you're here tonight. Is there anything else that you want to share with us?
No, just stay tuned for Hair Emotion Unplugged. It's coming real soon. We had a meeting with the network, and we're still waiting on the final 2 episodes. And once we have 5 episodes completed, then we're gonna go on the network, and I'm gonna let everybody know which networks and what time and all of that stuff. So yeah, and check
Yeah.
out our new tour that we start June 25th in Hampton, Virginia. We're gonna be shooting for our next fall winter issue. And
Okay.
hairstylists are shooting for equality.
Okay.
Everybody's welcome. That's your invite. Everybody's welcome.
So tell us how to get in touch with you and how to
You can go
be part of the tour.
www.hnmmedia.com, or
H.
you can go hnmmedia.com, or you can go to Instagram at Hair Motion Magazine. Simple.
Okay, and I'm just typing right now here.
Okay.
All right. See what we got going. There's things going on up in there.
I'm having my late night snack because I didn't eat all day.
Oh no.
Trying to get all the paperwork done for the grand opening for the school. So this is my first stop.
Okay. Tell them to keep up with those dishes there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got everything rolling right here. So hnmmedia.com or
Yes.
Instagram at Hair in Motion Magazine.
Correct.
So definitely follow and get all the details about being part of the shoot, and stay tuned for the new show. So yay.
Yes. Thank you, Miki, for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad you were able to take time out of your schedule. I know you just finished your show a few weeks ago and just had a birthday and all that good
stuff. Definitely. Yeah. But I wouldn't miss this for the world. This is a great platform.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support and appreciate everybody that's here, whether you're here with us live or whether you're watching the replay. Appreciate you being here. If you have missed any of this series or any of our other episodes, you can catch them on beautysuperstars.com. We actually have it so that you can click right onto the videos and watch them there, especially if you're not on social media, but they're also on YouTube. I'm going to mute you for a second. Okay. And so we are on YouTube under my name, which is Miki. It's just 1K, MIKIWRIGHT. And you can watch all of the ones that we've done previous to this there. And if you're tuning in late, you can actually catch this one there right after we close out. It'll be on YouTube. And so we also have our podcast, Beauty Superstars Talk. You can just look for that on your favorite podcast station, Apple, iTunes, on Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen. And we're even on Pandora, I think. So it's like, woo. And also, if you're interested in partnering with Beauty Superstars Talk, you can visit Beauty Superstars and look for the red button. And of course, next Tuesday, we will start our new series, which is on social media. It's all not only social media, but all dedicated to your online success. And so it's social media. It's going through ways that you can monetize your knowledge with digital products, with educating others in the industry, learning online, new platforms that are coming up, and how you may be able to retire from behind the chair, as well as overcome your fears of doing video. So it will be a really jam-packed month. And in addition, it will be our anniversary. So we'll have a big anniversary party where I will be, I guess, able to share some of my story. I get accused that I don't share enough of my story. Dominique was talking about some of the things that I've done. And so I'll be here with some friends and we'll have some storytelling and may even get roasted a little bit. So we'll see. But I hope you'll join us for that. And also on the 14th of June, it's like I'll be hosting a class. It's like we've done some Clubhouse on pricing, and it's just such a big issue. There's so many different pieces to it, and we get scared to raise our prices that we're going to lose all our clients. And so I want to walk you through some ways that you can do it with more ease and grace. And so, and kind of make sure you're on the right track. I did a coaching session with a young lady, and she's like, where do you even go to find out how to price your services? And I was like, that's a really good question. So we'll be talking about that as well. So I think we are good for this evening. I want to thank our sponsor, which is Beauty Superstars, which is not Beauty Superstars Talk, which is the Black Beauty Expo. We got a lot of B's going on here. And the Black Beauty Expo, it's actually the hottest show for Black creative entrepreneurs in hair, fashion, photography, modeling, and makeup industry. And so the next show coming up is August 1st. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm super excited to be part of it. I'm the global education director. And so we've almost finalized all of our education, but we are still accepting applications and all. So if you are interested in, taking your career to another level, definitely reach out to me. And also, again, want to thank the T's for their support through this series. And want to thank you again. It's like you can visit beautysuperstars.com. We've got a free success guide for you. If you are in a salon suite or thinking about a salon suite, you can go there and download it for free. So I'll put the link for the class in the notes here and one of the links so that you can sign up if you would like to join us. And I want to, again, just say thank you so much to Dominique. I've got you unmuted.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So you have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thanks for being here, and we will see you next Tuesday.
All right. Y'all take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.